Hey, and welcome to part 2 of the 2.1 Rise of the Roman Empire PowerPoint. If you have not watched part 1 yet, you need to stop, go back and find part 1, watch that first off of our website, and then come back and watch this one. For those of you that are ready, though, we're going to keep going right where we left off from question number 5 on our PowerPoint. You guys are using your yellow notes to answer these questions. We got through the front side of the yellow notes. Remember, you need 2 highlighters and something to write with along with your notes. One of your highlighters should be your super duper important information highlighter. If something is red, highlight it with that super duper important highlighter color because it'll probably be on a test or a quiz. If something is underlined in yellow, you want to bust out your summary highlighter color and underline that word because you must use that summary vocab word in your summary that you're going to write after you've written out your notes for this lecture. All right, so in the first part of the PowerPoint, we learned how Rome started as a settlement. Eventually it becomes a kingdom until they have a mean, nasty, horrible king that no one likes and they kick him out of power. His name was Tarquin the Proud. Okay, and they decide they want a whole new form of government, and that government is a republic. They are a republic for over 500 years. Many generations of people live and die under the Roman Republic, guys. It's a system that treats them well for a long time. All right, so we wrapped it up last video with the slide we're on right now and question number 9 off your yellow notes. And so now we're gonna move on. Here we go. The first thing you see is 2 video clips. I don't show them to you in this video. You've got to go onto the website, and right next to where you're watching this video will be these 2 videos. I highly recommend watching them. From time to time, a test question appears that you saw from watching a video clip. Not to mention the second one's kind of funny and entertaining. So watch them. Do it. Be a good student. A for effort, people. Do it, do it, do it. All right, moving on. So how do they limit the power of the republic? Okay, remember, they want people to have a say. They don't want anybody getting too powerful. They're afraid of that happening from everything they went through from Tarquin the Proud. They remember that. All right, and so ultimately, they have 2 leaders at the head of their government. We have 1 president, right? They go with a different way of going about it. They get 2 leaders, and they are called consuls. And this is actually kind of genius because ultimately what ends up happening is from the 2 consuls, one is a plebeian and one is a patrician. So there is a voice for the poor people and there is a voice for the wealthier people. So everybody kind of has a say in what's going on in the republic. Okay, but again, they don't want them to get too powerful. So those 2 consuls, they're only allowed to have a 1-year term. That's it. And then they're out of there and somebody else becomes the next 2 consuls. Okay, so 2 consuls at a time, but they only rule for 1 year each. Looking at your notes, number 10 asks you, who's the head of the government? The 2 consuls that rule for 1 year apiece. That's your answer. Notice consuls is double underlined in yellow and it's red. So make sure you're using your super duper highlighter color and also your summary vocab highlighter. Okay, number 11, who kept the Roman Republic leaders in check? Well, again, here's another fail-safe that they're going to use to make sure the consuls don't get too powerful. The Romans end up developing the Senate that they are so famous for. It ends up having about 300 members or so, but only 10 of those are plebeians. Okay, almost all of the people on the Senate are patricians. So the wealthy definitely have a stronger vote for sure in the Senate. The Senate's there to help the consuls. It takes a lot of people to run the government, but they're also there as a check in power. They're going to keep an eye on the consuls and make sure the consuls are doing their job and being honest. Okay, so the Senate acts like a check on the consuls, which is the answer to number 11 from your yellow notes. If you're not ready yet, make sure you push pause here because here we go. All right, there's another video clip. This one's on how the Roman Republic works. Another good video clip, you guys. It is definitely worth watching. Will help you understand the Roman Republic system and might end up having some answers to some test questions. So you want to make sure you watch that. It will be located right next to this video you're watching on our class website. Okay, so what ends up happening to the Republic? Well, it's successful for a long time. Rome is a republic for almost 500 years, okay? They've got a really well organized army. They're super disciplined, they're super trained. They just pretty much kick butt all the way around. You didn't mess with the Roman army, okay? But as the Roman Republic is successful and they're expanding their land holdings out and out and out more and more and more, it's getting harder and harder for the Romans to maintain order in the Roman Republic. And fighting kind of starts breaking out. Tensions are increasing, a lot of arguing between patricians and plebeians about rights and land and laws and rules and all these things, okay? And those tensions get more heated and more dramatic and bigger and bigger and bigger until they turn physically violent. And now you've got patricians fighting plebeians and it's not pretty, okay? And they end up having a civil war. Not good. Remember, a civil war is when a country is fighting itself. It's not Rome against somebody else. It's Romans against other Romans. They're the only ones involved. Civil wars are not good things for countries. All right? So the Republic works for a long, long, long time, but eventually it kind of starts to crumble and they're having issues when the Civil War breaks out. So number 13 asked you, what happened as the Roman Republic grew? Well, it gets harder to maintain order, right? Okay. Number 14 asked you, what eventually happens to the Roman Republic? They break out into a civil war. So let's review, shall we? Rome starts as a settlement. They end up becoming a kingdom until they have a mean, nasty, horrible, bad king whose name was Tarquin the Proud. They kick him out. They don't want a kingdom system anymore. They want a system where the people have a say. And so they decide to have a republic. And that works really well for them for hundreds of years, about 500 years or so. But eventually they've been getting so big, it's hard to maintain order. Problems start happening. People are getting angry. The violence turns physical. And the Roman Republic ends up in a civil war. Okay? So a republic is best if you can keep it, but Rome does not keep theirs. Besides all the people throughout the Roman Republic fighting, there's a lot of political violence as well. Senators are fighting senators. Consuls are fighting consuls. You never know who you can trust. People are buying each other off, spreading rumors, lying. Okay? It's just a mess. The government is a mess. The landscape of Rome is a mess. The people and citizens of Rome are a mess. It is utter chaos. No one knows who's leading, what's going on. And these series of civil wars continue for over 60 years. 60 years of fighting. It was not a good time to be a Roman. No. Okay? Just in case you're keeping count, we've had one civil war in all of our history as the United States of America, and it only lasted 4 years. Okay? They had multiple civil wars that lasted over 60. All right, so somebody eventually comes along that's able to bring order back to the Roman Republic. And that person is Julius Caesar. Okay, Julius Caesar is a brilliant military leader. He takes his army troops and he goes from one piece of Rome to another, to another, to another, bringing order and peace and prosperity back to the Roman Republic, one piece at a time, until all of Rome has finally calmed back down. Okay, looking at your notes, number 15, who ended the civil wars in Rome? Julius Caesar ends them. Make sure you notice that he is not only in red, so anything in red, you're going to use your super duper highlighter color, but also anything underlined in yellow, you're going to use your summary highlighter and highlight that word underneath and underline it with the color as well. Okay, so Julius Caesar brings about an end to the civil wars. Well, now he's in quite a position of power. That was a pretty big feat to manage, to get all of Rome to settle down. So people are willing to listen to him. A lot of people like Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar kind of has all the cards. And he says, Rome's really in a fragile state right now. If I step down, what if you all just start fighting again? What if the chaos ensues all over again and we have another 60 years of civil wars? I really think I need to stay in charge and bring us through this fragile time. And people listen. And Julius Caesar declares himself the sole ruler of Rome. This brings about the end of the Roman Republic because there's no more consuls, there's no more voting going on, right? He is the sole ruler of Rome. So if you look at number 15, who ends the civil wars? One more time. Julius Caesar, that's right. And also number 16, who brings about, or what brings about the end of the Roman Republic? What brings about the end of the Republic is when he declares himself sole ruler. No more Republic. Now he is large and in charge of it all. Okay, moving on. Some facts about Caesar that are kind of fun. He's the first person to write a military campaign literature about his own successes as a military general, something that a lot of military tacticians and historians still look at today. Very famous document. Julius Caesar was the secret lover of Cleopatra for a while. All right. He also had a guy he was really close to named Marcus. Kind of took Marcus under his wing, wanted to show him the ropes, show him how to be a good leader. But little did he know, Marcus had a secret plot to have him murdered. Dun, dun, dun. That's right, the Ides of March. Marcus, along with about 60 other senators, out in public on the Senate floor, stab Julius Caesar to death. It's not pretty. Julius Caesar has been murdered. Why, Marcus? Why? We thought we were friends, right? They thought he had let all the power go to his head and he was becoming corrupt and kind of crazy for power and hungry for power, and they didn't like it. So they kill him, which means he's never an emperor of Rome. So how exactly do we start having emperors? Well, what happens is his adopted son, whose name is Octavian, ends up becoming the first emperor of Rome. There's a brief power struggle after Julius Caesar dies, and Octavian's the guy that comes out on top, and he's going to end up becoming the first emperor. When he does that, he changes his name to Augustus. So taking a look at your notes here, guys, how does Rome become an empire? Rome becomes an empire because there was a 3-step process. 3 steps. Pay attention. Hint, hint, wink, wink for your tests, okay? Step 1, there are civil wars. The Roman Republic's in trouble. Civil wars, breaking apart the Roman Republic. Step 2, a powerful ruler helps to bring peace back into the Roman Republic. His name was Julius Caesar. Step 3, Caesar is killed. He's never made the first emperor of Rome. His adopted son Octavian gets that honor, and Octavian changes his name to Augustus, becoming the first emperor of the Roman Empire. And that is the answer to 17. It's pretty much the first bullet point there. You could copy that down. Make sure you're using that super duper highlighter color on all that red stuff. And don't forget Empire and Augustus that are both underlined in yellow on this PowerPoint. All right. What do they think about him? Number 18. Well, he's brilliant. He's a great leader. Everybody thinks that Augustus does a good job. He's careful. He does not make rash decisions. He's able to create a strong government again that's honest and doing a good job for the people. And he establishes a time of peace and prosperity. known as Pax Romana. All right, we got one more slide. You're going to have to tune in to part 3 to see that, but we're almost done. Just one more slide to go when you come back, so I'll see you then.